What legal rights do animals have?
Well, animals do have legal rights. So, for example, there is the so-called Animal Welfare Act, which came into force in England and Wales in 2007. And this is a combination of previously up to like 20 different laws on animal welfare. So this has been combined into one, and that affects like pets, like your cat, your dog, but also farm animals, for example. And I think in terms of what's important in terms of legal rights for animals is, and this has been recently stressed by the environment minister, is that animals are sentient beings, so they feel. So we kind of attributed to animals that they can feel stuff. So they're not just animals, but they can actually feel stuff. But I said at the beginning that it includes farm animals, but obviously that's a bit of a grey area because we cannot ask animals about how they actually feel or whether they have any rights.
If humans have more legal rights than animals, should we protect them?
The straight answer is yes, of course, because I think, first of all, because we cannot ask them and because they cannot reply as like a human being in terms of language, either written or spoken, I would say we owe it to them. We owe protection to them, and we should protect them because they are part of nature. So you may think a small animal like a fly is completely unnecessary, but no, it does play its part in nature and in the food chain. And I think a very good example are bees. Bees are pollinators, and we need them that stuff grows. No? If we don't have any bees, we face a lot of problems. No? And because they cannot defend themselves, I think we should protect them.
Can an animal commit a crime?
That depends on the point of view. An animal can only commit a crime because we as human beings define what a crime is. In very practical terms, yes, an animal can commit a crime, but it's, for example, in the case of pets, like your cat or your dog, it's your responsibility as an owner. So let's say you take your dog for a walk and you take it on the countryside and it attacks a sheep. Obviously, in legal terms, the dog commits a crime, but we are not putting the dog behind bars. But you, as a responsible owner, you could actually be put behind bars, and I think the maximum sentence is up to a year and can be up to £20,000 in terms of what you have to pay if your animal commits a crime. But that is because we are a very organized society. So we have pet animals, we have farm animals. We hardly have any, well, we do have wildlife, but just think of any other country in this world. Think of, let's say you go to Africa, to South Africa. Well, if a lion attacks a zebra, is it really committing a crime? No. And we have an interesting discussion currently, probably not so much in the UK, but on the continent, where wolves are kind of spreading again. So they are migrating from the east, so from what today is Ukraine, Russia, and Poland, and they're coming into Germany and other countries. And suddenly, they used to be part of our nature, of our life for centuries. But then, because we advanced, we built cities, we engaged in intensive livestock farming, etc. Wolves were they were more or less, they vanished from our eyesight basically. But now they're coming back, and suddenly people are afraid of them again. But they're just part of our nature.
Are humans more important than animals?
No, but again, it depends on the viewpoint. So some people would say, well, maybe animals are sentient beings, so they can feel. But what differentiates us from animals may be language, either written or spoken. But then guess who made that distinction? Well, humans. Huh? No one asked the animals if it can't communicate or not, and we do know that animals communicate too. If you've ever listened to a cat fight in the night, well, obviously they communicate. So I wouldn't say they are not more important, or humans are not more important than animals, and that's because we attribute to them different things. I mean, for some people, animals like dogs or cats are a substitute to children. Look how much money people spend on pet care, on food, on grooming, etc. Look how we use animals in even very contentious things like testing for products. So we obviously, if we trust that if a product is tested on an animal, then obviously we're putting them on the same step as us humans.